Hello, my bird. How you doing? I'm about to give you a freakishly long episode today. Let's move back to the story we've been doing. This could be us, and this is the fifth installment. Hopefully, we should not have more than seven installments. In as much as the story is long, and it's not that long actually. I know I could do it in 2 episodes, but it's just that we get all the emotions, we get all the feels. So where we left things in the last episode is that a very unexpected person calls Soledad Dolores from Calput and says, "Hey, we're offering you the position of caterer for the Christmas party." Now, this Christmas party is the same Christmas party that at the beginning of this story, Soledad attended that Christmas party with her husband at the time, Edward. That was before the whole everything came apart. Edward cheating on her, stealing from the company. They're divorced right now. It's been 9 months, you get. So that company that her ex-husband used to work for, getting in touch with her to do catering. And her pride is like, do I want to have anything to do with this company? She wants to shoot it down. But she has bills. And that's the biggest motivator to go, okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, but my condition is I set the menu and I see nobody. That's granted. Okay. And she also suspects the only person who could have actually put up Dolores. Dolores is the daughter of the owner of Calput. To do this is actually Judah, sir. She goes to see Judah. Meanwhile, Judah, he's having a workless, parentless weekend. He's ready to watch soccer. He has prepared his beer, the chicken. Then his phone rings. Surprisingly, it's Sol, and Sol, she's wondering if she can come in to talk. That means she's already outside, packed somewhere. He's hesitant because he doesn't know if he can let her go once she comes in, but he lets her in. She's been cleaning, but her jasmine scent is intact. This is that same day that they cleaned Cora's house, okay? But still, she still smells like jasmine. Of course she does. She admires what they've done with the house, like the house that he lives in, Judah. It's an old house that was renovated, but they managed to keep original things. However, Judah doesn't take that praise. Tremi was responsible for the refurbishment, the renovations and co. And currently, their boys are with her. Like their twin boys are with Tremaine. But the fact that his children are not around and he doesn't have work, Judah is about to have his rare time off. And what is he planning to do with it? He wants to watch soccer, watch some TV. And he invites her, hey, you can watch with me. But she can't because she has to go home to make dinner. Responsible mom. He now asks her, Judah asks Soledad, where did you learn to make your fancy meals? She now tells him, I went to Cornell's School of Hotel Administration and ended up working in a really nice hotel all through college. The girl went to Ivy League school. Now, the reason why Soledad came to see him in the first place is she came to find out, are you behind Dolores calling me? He is. Why? So she now asks him, why? Why did you put her up to that? He's simple. It's an opportunity to see her. He's like, look, so I know you're not ready to date anybody. I'm not planning to ask you. So today she's like, then what? I don't understand your end game here. He now tells her it's not an end game. It's a begin game. It means it's a long game. I don't want to interfere with all you're doing, how you're working on yourself. I think it's awesome. But if I can find a way to see you, I will. It's a promise, okay? So she now asks him, and if I don't want to see you? Him, then tell me to stop. All my attempts at seeing you, if they're making you uncomfortable, tell me to stop, and I will stop. It's a test atmosphere. And he's so close to kissing her when she backs out, and she just tells him, don't stop. That's the reply to don't stop with the opportunities you find to see me kind of thing. As far, I may not be ready to date yet, but don't stop trying, okay? Now, later, Soledad does a live, and on that live video, she's asking her followers, hey, follow along while she designs her she shed. Apparently, that Edward's man cave behind the house, she's going to make it her she shed. She gives a bit of background on it. This used to be my husband's, but now I want to make it my own place. And she shares some of the designs she has in mind about here and there. People are actively engaging, leaving comments, and she's replying. She's a complete natural with this online thing. So later, she makes dinner, goes through the routine with her girls, like, okay, talk, before settling in her own bed. And then her phone pings. It's not a text from Judah because she was kind of expecting one. it's Yasmin. Yasmin sent her a text that, hey, the chapter 4 of All About Love, the book we're currently doing on the book club. Soledad, it relates to you so much. Soul hasn't gone that far in the book, but because of what Yasmin says, she picks up the book and goes straight to chapter 4. She starts reading, and everything in that chapter, it's an approval stamp. There's a whole section there on satisfied homemakers and the joy of self-determination and being your own boss. The real kicker, Hooks calls her house. The Hooks is the author of the book All About Love, calls her house and the country a sanctuary and refers to it as, in quotes, Soledad Hermosa. That's Soledad's name. It means beautiful solitude. You get, this is all Soledad, the homemaking thing, the house in the country, the sanctuary thing. So to this, Soledad just has this realization: I can be alone and not lonely. That this journey I'm on solo right now can be beautiful. I can be content. That my very name reflects this pursuit. Her name meaning beautiful solitude. It reflects this pursuit that she's been on of renewal, understanding who she's been, who she's becoming. Seeing her name in ink on paper in this context, it just sprinkles goosebumps along her arms. Now, back to Judah. His sons are around. He's about to have food with his sons. But Aaron says he wants to talk to Mau Mau. Mau Mau is Judah's mom. Aaron is the one who doesn't talk so much, who has to rely on a device that's always around his neck, where he has like this encyclopedia of pictures that he shows people so they understand what he means. So Adam, being the twin brother, yes, is better on the autism spectrum, but definitely he and Aaron are just kind of like brother, twin brother vibe, they're identical and cool. So he encourages, yeah, let's talk to Momo. That's grandma. They're doing it. So Judah's mom is a nurse. She's in her early 60s. She stays at Maryland and she adores the twins. His own parents were more understanding of the boys being autistic than Tremaine's parents were. Her parents thought, well, discipline the boys out of it. Flog them. Da 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 da. They're too deeply ingrained in that African culture mindset. Because I've heard stories of people that were natural lefties in Nigeria, but because they had parents who were too religious, their parents flogged them out of it. Did nasty things to their own children, saying it's they're of the devil and demons. Seriously. I've said it before. While I don't believe that certain illnesses like autism of God, because God doesn't gives that somehow, or somebody that they born will come and have all manner of sicknesses. God's only will in that situation is healing, complete healing. But you don't get cruel on people like that, flogging, beating, telling them that of the devil, keeping them in unsanitary conditions. What the heck? That's just evil of you too. You're even worse than the evil spirit inside that person, if there is in fact an evil spirit there. Although Judah is even divorced from Tremaine self, Tremaine and Judah's mother, they're still very close. That's this Momo now. That is to the boys, Aaron and Adam, she's Momo, right? That is grandma. In the course of Judah and his mom talking after the twins are done talking to her and they leave, Judah discovers that his retired father started watching a woman from Atlanta who has a life hack for everything. From the way that his mother talks about this said woman in Atlanta, because Judah is in Atlanta, he knows his mom is talking about Soledad. And his mom and his dad likes her. And this is the woman that Judah has like a heavy crush on, okay? So Judah just admits to his mom that he knows her and they like each other, but they aren't dating or anything. His mother asks, does she know about the boys? So to this, Judah now says, you mean that my situation is complicated by two amazing boys who need a lot of support? She does. Her situation is involved too. She has 3 daughters who are adjusting to everything being different, especially their father being incarcerated. So to this, his mom now asks Judah, do they know you were the one who discovered what he was up to? They do. To this, his mom wishes him well and teases him a little at the end. Also, Judah's father wants to start gardening. His mom is already terming Soledad Judah's girlfriend. And I was like, and I'm certain your girlfriend has something to do with it. That's why your father watches your girlfriend too often. This is so funny, but I actually love that trajectory. That whole, you discover someone random online, this lady that is like so cool, so nice, and you have no idea that that lady is the same lady who's perhaps going to end up with your son eventually and become, ooh, that lady, my daughter-in-law, or the woman that's still part of my family somehow. It's a small world after all kind of scenario. Now, Soledad has a call with her sisters. Hannah's sister, she has two sisters. I've mentioned that before. Now, her sisters are like, oh, you're getting the hang of this influencer thing, and every other week your videos are going viral. So to this, Soledad tells her sister, please, oh, that doesn't always translate into cash. Please, matter of fact, most of the time it doesn't. Please, are you hearing this? That somebody's getting 2 million views, 3 million views on social media does not mean it's translating into cash. However, it's getting more visible. And because it's more visible, that's a better chance that the creator is having at getting brand deals, ads, etc. Anyway, the moral of the story is that Soledad always needs more cash. She's going to take the Calpo deal because they're going to pay her in one night what she would have spent 3 weeks, hustling for. It means that, yeah, she can now have a Christmas with her girls. She doesn't have to like run around and try to make ends meet, okay? She can just do this one job and just chill out for the holidays and continue in January. Also, her elder sister Lola will come visiting too, to visit Soledad and the girls. Now, Soledad has this whole ritual on how she's investing time in herself. On Saturday mornings, as early as 7 a.m., she's out for a walk. She does yoga by herself, journaling, self-reflection. And when she's doing her self-reflection, she's writing. She likes the whole writing it in the book. She's writing something like, he wanted someone more ambitious. No, more docile. No, more outspoken. Because he obviously wanted someone who wasn't you. The fundamental question becomes not, can I trust another man again? But can I trust myself again? He was a bad man, yes. But was I a bad judge of character? And would I be again? What will I accept in my next relationship? Would there be another? What are my boundaries, my desires, my limits? Okay, these are the thoughts Soledad is just like pouring through. This really got me here because I know, so I've said this before, in a case where just like we see a lot of good men make bad choices, terrible choices in the women they end up with. And somehow they're working out with that woman. Apparently they know how to soften her edges and this. But the other person's like, dude, how did you end up with such a terrible woman? Again, so that's the same way. We see a great woman like Soledad who could have loved any man. She fell in love and loved this scoundrel, really, who's Edward. And now she's thinking that she's a problem. Why didn't I judge better, okay? It could happen to anybody. Honestly, you don't get to blame yourself one way or the other. That's why I appreciate, stories like this. It's candid, it's honest, it's real. And you get to see a picture that is not camouflaged and made to look nice, okay? Now, Soledad eats by herself at the restaurant. This is part of her ritual. Eating at this restaurant, she's using a gift card. She actually got it from her neighbor. Her neighbor gave it to her in exchange for a service she did for the neighbor. As per, she preps the neighbor's menu for the week. Returning home, she sees mail from ex-mother-in-law, Oneida Baines. That is Edward's mother. In the mail, the woman sent $5,000 for the girls' tuition, her daughters. And as much as she doesn't have a great relationship with Edward's mother, Soledad has good manners. So she calls Oneida, probably pronouncing that name wrong, Juanita. It sounds better as Oneida. So she calls the woman to take the woman. That is Edward's mother. But the woman immediately attacked Saul and said, you sent my son to jail and you abandoned him in his moment of need. Saul has to carefully remind this woman of her son's crime that he pled guilty to and how it's made Saul downsize her own lifestyle to adjust. Onida also wanted Lupe to do pageantry, but Lupe hates it. And the woman is just saying, that Lupe, she's pretty. I beg you. So to this, Onida is now just saying, he's now telling Soledad, what Edward ever saw in you, I don't know. So to this, Soledad point blank tells Onida, that is her former mother-in-law, I believe it was my ass and the fact that I basically put him through grad school. He knew my ambition was to raise a family and build a wonderful life for them and decided he should be the primary beneficiary of all this talent. Period. That's what Edward did. He basically said, oh, this is a woman who's nurturing. Let me use all her nurturing to get myself far ahead in life and then dump her, okay? That was his plan. Now, this is the Callahan Christmas party, the one that they asked Soledad to do. She didn't want to do, but she needs the money. So this is it. It's happening live and direct. There are 50 guests, and for 50 guests, there are 10 servers available. This is so cool. No server is going to be, overworked. Now, Soledad's preparing to leave because she's kind of giving all instructions in the kitchen. She's preparing to go when Dolores asks her to go on stage and talk about the menu. Girl, that's not part of our... you, no one's supposed to see me. But apparently it's Laurie's mother asking. It's what the woman of the house wants. That as the owner of Calpot, his wife is asking this or so. So reminds herself that it's not my name that's Maud around here. It's not my name. It's Edward's. I did no wrong. As a matter of fact, I did something right. I turned over evidence I found and helped this family, this company recover millions of dollars. And instead of losing my home, we're still in it. I did that. So this is the confidence boost she needs to go out and talk to those people. So she goes out, she starts talking. Sometime halfway while she's talking, Judah comes in, making her stutter because, ooh, she can feel the energy. He's in the room. But she finds her rhythm again. As soon as she's done talking, she grabs her purse to flee to her car, in the kitchen. But then a gentle grip on her elbow is Judah. She's avoiding him because she's dating herself. She can't let all that committee of women following her example. And they're dating themselves, you know. So she doesn't want to mislead them in any case. So she wants to be honest. Just look at this thing. Look at what she's thinking. I don't want this persistent attraction to Judah distracting me from what I'm learning and who I am becoming. This book is heavy on self-partnering, therapist, da, 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 da. I think this is Kennedy Ryan's era of discovering herself, and this era, most people, most writers, most authors, they write what they are currently living, what they are currently their present reality. So if you read any piece of my writing at any particular point in time, that's where my head is at. So oftentimes it's easy for me to just use that writer's eye, and when I read something someone wrote, I can tell this is where their headspace is trending at, even if it's fiction or creative fiction at that time, or creative writing, whatever it is. So she's been lately about therapists and yoga, which I have heard several times from my men of God that is not it's not Christian to do yoga. Personally, I've not done the research, but since I don't do yoga, it's not like the thing for me. I pray my prayer and I praise Jesus, and I don't judge people who do it because I don't quite understand it. But I think it's attached to Eastern religion, which is not regarded as Christian. It's not rooted in Christian faith. Y'all, believer, pray your prayer, listen to preachers talk, do your meditation on God's word. Leave yoga. Just leave it. At least until you understand it, or just leave it. Seriously, it's not everything that we try to understand. Either case, wherever you are on your own journey of knowing God, He's got you, okay? You are found by Him. Just stay with Him, okay? Now, for Soledad, being around Judah in public is fine, but she can't trust herself with him in private. This is when he chooses to pull her to that same study she found Aaron in last year. She was going to leave, actually, without saying goodbye or hello. And Judah now tells her, I thought we were friends. Don't they at least say hello? But you are not planning to? By this time, Soul's hair is reaching her elbow. He's like this afro hair that just down and, really nice. And this is part of the pledge she made with DJ and Lupe, that none of them are going to cut their hair so that they can donate it, to cancer patients who are losing their hair. Because Judah asked Soul, we were planning on leaving without saying goodbye or hello. I thought we were friends. So Soul is now asking Judah back, but let's be real. Is this what friends do? Want each other? She's now explaining to him that she wants him, but at the same time, she wants herself more. That means she doesn't want him that much, okay? Judah gets the struggle. He kind of understands what's going on in her head, that she's afraid of making a bad decision again when it comes to a man. So he has to tell her, I am not Edward. But Soledad tells him, I am Soledad. I'm that girl who chose comfort over truth. Did I ignore what was wrong in my marriage with my husband because I wasn't sure there was anything else for me? Did I not want to disrupt life for my girls? Or is it that I didn't want to disrupt life for myself? Those are the questions that demand answers. And she feels shame in admitting this. Like, I was so freaking weak. I was so freaking blind. And I chose to stay that way. She doesn't want to live that life again. Soul encourages Judah, please don't wait for me. Not when you could have other women. Look, I understand you have needs. So Judah has to explain to her, I've been divorced 4 years, been hyper-focused on my sons and leaving money for them so that when I'm gone that they're fine. So in all that time period, I've not exactly had time to chase after women or be with any woman. I've been celibate. So she's like, you are lying. You are freaking lying. Excuse you? 4 years? Hot ass you are celibate? How? So he just tells her calmly, Waiting for you is something that I would have still done without you asking me to. For Judah, sex is trust and intimacy. You get, it's only something he can do within a committed relationship. So when he says this, the whole mushy environment and soul is feeling like, ah, the special, precious man. What am I gonna do with you? She wants to give him one thing, so she asks him, kiss me. He kisses her jaw, her chin, her neck. And she grabs him and kisses him full on the mouth. And he chuckles because he was definitely teasing her. He wanted her to want it, okay? And he wanted her to be sure that she actually wants this kiss. And this kiss progresses fast, okay? I don't know if this has ever happened to you, right? And I don't know who's listening to this, but don't know me too well. Anyhow, I think I've had a situation like that in my life once, right? I think me and this person, we've had like this chemistry, this chemistry. We've never actually been left in the room by ourselves. And the one time we did, it was like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, whoa, dudes, hold on. How are we getting to like third base already? No. Okay. It happens basically when there's so much chemistry and one kiss, next thing you know, it's like, ooh, we're touching. I'm like, stop there. I'm a child of God. I can do this. I'm pretty sure a lot of us can relate. I mean, we went through teenage years, we went through university. It's part of the things that happen for some, because I know some people who left university and Jesus, they're still as pure as. I used to look at people, I'm like, I wish I was like you. Anyhow, let's continue. It's actually Judah who stopped Soledad, really. And if he had not, for reals, it's even so, not even Judah that would have had him there in the study. So Saul is thinking to herself, he draws me in. And if I'm not careful, he'll draw me away from the work I know still needs to be done in my life before I tangle it with someone else's. But then, a side note, when do you know you've done enough work on yourself to now share that life with somebody? Anyhow, this is Christmas season and Soul is planning to give her daughters a Noche Buena Christmas. And there's a lot of cooking. Her daughters are eagerly helping out though. Eagerly. Hendrix arrives with so many presents. She's like rich auntie energy, okay? She meets Lola. Lola is Soledad's sister that's come to stay with them for the holidays. So Lola is around and Hendrix and Lola, they hit it off immediately. They have so much in common, from owning their sensuality to blunt speech to same humor. They talk about a lot of things. Ooh, the love lives of Hendrix and Lola. But then they circle back to their counter and Judah. So Soul admits, well, we did kiss the previous week, and she downplays its effect on her. Soul is so into the new foundation she's building for herself and her girls. She doesn't want to jeopardize it for a man. So Hendrix now tells Soul, being powerful means you can set your own boundaries, make your own rules. If you want to kiss a guy but not be in a relationship, kiss a guy and don't feel guilty about it. Okay? I mean, Soledad is a very traditional person. So I doubt she'd know how to. I doubt there is a bone in her body that knows how to do strings, and that's really good. Okay, it's good. Now after Hendrix has a plane to catch, some work things, see her mother, an aging parent. After Hendrix leaves, they made a lot of food, and knowing Soul, she wants to distribute it to the neighborhood, distribute it to others who might need it. So they go to deliver some of the pastilles she made to Cora's house. The person who answers the door is Cora's husband. He travels for work. Cora is that lady that has cancer. Now, Cora's husband traveled for work, but he's around, and he's so thankful for all Soul has been doing to cheer up his family. Now, the husband now asks Soul, what are pastilles? So she now has to explain, they're kind of like tamales. In Puerto Rico, we make them to celebrate Noche Buena, like Christmas Eve. Anyway, we've been making them all day, and I wanted to bring some over. You can try them whenever, freeze them, up to you. So, and this, he asked, he's tipping the carafe. She now tells him it's coquito, kind of like eggnog, rum and coconut. You like it. To be honest, the reason I even took note of this part of the book, I'm like, I want to try all of them. Please give me tamales, give me pastilles, give me carafe. I want it. I hope I get to try it. Now, after she's done with this delivery, Soledad has one more delivery to make to Judah. She wants to give him some of the things that they made. She now texts him when she's outside his house. He asks her to come in. This is them after that first kiss that, went a little wild. And I'm like, that's not a good idea. You going into that house alone. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Unless his sons are around. Anyhow, this is where we stop today. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I will see you on Thursday for we're rounding up the story, I promise. Two more episodes to go, Max. Before this year is up, we'll be done. And then we'll start the story. We'll start the new year with a fantasy story. This is why you should keep up with this podcast totally and tell someone about it so they don't miss out on all the fun. I really love you. They're very happy. New Year in advance. Merry Christmas. I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.